What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Omar back again. I told you guys I was bringing you a second video, and I really hope that air conditioner over there isn't too loud. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. But let me just jump right into this. So earlier I was talking about the Mets. It made me depressed. It made me sad. I had to grab my tissue box. No more of that. We got to move on to a new sport, and that sport is football. More specifically, the NFL right now. And fantasy football season is coming. I know it seems like it's far away, but it's summertime. We're all busy. The weather's nice. Before we know it, it's going to be August, September, and we're going to be getting back into football season. So before you do, you got to do some mock drafts, as I was doing today. I did one today. And while you're doing your mock drafts, you might find some players are ranked a little higher than you'd think, and some players a little lower than you'd think. So that's the purpose of this video, as you can see in the title up there. The top 3 players that are ranked too high and ranked too low on ESPN's non-PPR, just traditional scoring rankings right now. Let's jump into it with the players that are too high, too damn high. Leonard Fournette is my first and foremost front runner for this title. He's ranked 23rd right now on ESPN, and that might go down. We don't know how it's going to adjust before the season starts. But here's Fournette. Here's the case. Fournette came out of college. He's as highly touted as Ezekiel Elliott almost. He's right up there. People think he's a generational talent. Yet, when Fournette was missing time with injuries, which, by the way, another point here, was a lot of time, in college, his backup, who's a great player, Darius Geis, was putting up arguably better numbers than Leonard Fournette at LSU. So, is it Fournette or is it the offensive line? Now, I'm not saying Fournette has no talent. Fournette is a good talent. But look where he's going. The Jacksonville Jaguars were more than just a struggling team last year. They were futile and just an offense that could not operate under any circumstance. It's still bad. Blake Bortles is still a quarterback. That offensive line did not make many moves. There's a lot of moves on the defensive side. This is not going to be a good team once again. And Blake Bortles is not going to be, he's not going to provide a pass game that supports Leonard Fournette that well. We've seen what TJ Yeldon's done, who is not as talented as Fournette, but is no slouch. He's not a terrible player. But look at what's happened to poor TJ Yeldon. 23 is too high for Leonard Fournette right now. Next up, and I got to do it. I'm sorry, but the guy right in front of Leonard Fournette, Rob Gronkowski at 22. Now, this is for one reason and one reason only, and if you're a football fan, you probably know what I'm about to say. Rob Gronkowski, if he were to play 16 games, would be in the 10 range. Perhaps even a first-round pick. He's not going to play 16 games. As a football fan, I'm a Giants fan. I hate the Patriots, but I've always been the type of person that hates injuries even more. I want to see star players play. That adds to the enjoyment of the sport. It is a great time watching Rob Gronkowski make the ridiculous plays he does. But unfortunately, as all football fans should, I've had to accept that Rob Gronkowski will not be playing 16 games in the season. Probably for the rest of his career. The guy plays, well, first of all, any position in football is tough, but the tight end position is tough. Rob Gronkowski is a big, huge guy. I understand that. But he's still taking hits from big, huge guys. He's still blocking. He's still got multiple ailments, serious ailments in the past that have caused him to miss chunks. He's not going to make it through 16 games. The Patriots will be fine, but Gronkowski at 22, if you can reasonably expect him to play 12 games this year, is too high. Too high for a tight end, especially considering guys like Travis Kelce. You guys remember Travis Kelce? Great year last year for the Kansas City Chiefs. 47. So we're talking about a full 2.5 rounds later. It's just not worth the 22nd pick. And finally, for players that are ranked too high, we're going to stick with the running back trend and the running back on a bad team trend. Let's go with Isaiah Crowell, who checks in at 33rd right now in the ESPN ranking. Isaiah Crowell had some good games last year. He really did. And before the season, there was talk that Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson would be a complete 50-50 split. Eventually, Crowell took that over, and, he ran with the job. But did he run with the job to the extent of the 33rd best player this year? Look at the Browns. It's similar to the Jaguars scenario here. This is a team that's going to be behind in a lot of games, whether Myles Garrett is healthy and playing or not, or Jabril Peppers. They're going to be behind a lot, which means throwing a lot. They don't have a very good quarterback. They don't have a very good receiving core. So there's nothing around Isaiah Crowell to support him throughout the season. Now, he is a pass catcher, which helps, of course. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. But he's not going to be 33 value. He's not going to return that. I mean, if the biggest thing for Crowell is you look behind him. There's some guys behind him that are great. Proven commodities. And you look at a guy like, for example, I'm just looking here right now at the running backs. You look at Frank Gore, who's 20 spots behind him. Frank Gore is no flashy player whatsoever. But every year, the guy stays healthy. He puts up 1,000 yards or close to it. And he has a nose for the end zone. Plays on a good offense. It's not the flashy pick. But guys like Crowell are just not going to cut it. They're not going to give you what you're drafting to be, which is your first or second running back. Not week in and week out. Some weeks, sure, but not every week. Now let's quickly get into the more exciting part, the 3 players I think are ranked too low. And let's start with a running back who checks in at number 45, which is still pretty high. Spencer Ware. Now, Spencer Ware, like Isaiah Crowell, burst onto the scene last year. There's a big difference between the two of them. One, Spencer Ware, as good as a pass catcher as Crowell is, Spencer Ware does it too. 2, he plays for a great team with a great defense, and they're going to be in the lead, which means running. 3, obviously, Jamal. He doesn't have to think about Jamal Charles anymore. I know Jamal Charles didn't really factor into the Chiefs' offense that much last year, but it's still a thought in his head. Spencer Ware thinking he's got to prove himself so that when Jamal Charles comes back, he can keep some carries. That's not a thought in his head anymore. This is his job. He's going to go out there, and I think he's just going to put up huge numbers for an offense that's going to lean on him. It's an Andy Reid offense. I mean, they're going to lean on him. Next up, we're going to go to the quarterback position. And this one, I will admit right now, this one might be a little different in the coming days just because this team has made a new signing. So, probably going to get changed. But Marcus Mariota, 149. 149. Hold on a minute. That is good for the 15th quarterback. So, Marcus Mariota, who has the wheels, has added Eric Decker now, has Rashard Matthews, who is a great unsung player, plays on a pretty good offense, has DeMarco Murray, who's a great pass catcher, is going to be middle of the pack. That, to me, is a no-brainer pick. If you're people like me, who like to wait on a quarterback and not jump out at the early rounders, sure, Marcus Mariota is not going to give you what Aaron Rodgers gives you. But for a 15th round pick in a 10-team league, that's a steal. We're talking about the rounds where defenses and kickers get drafted. And you can grab a quarterback who, before he got hurt last year, was on his way to a top 7 year, was having a great year. It's only going to get better. And he will be healthy for the season. And finally, don't want to make this video too long, so let me wrap it up. Jack Doyle, no. Just kidding. No. Jack Doyle, not on the list. But I'll tell you who is on the list. And this might come as a little bit of a surprise to you guys. I don't know. Depends how you feel about this guy. But Hunter Henry comes in at 116th overall, the 10th tight end on the board. And to me, I know a lot of people were high on him last year for a breakout, especially in Phillip Rivers' offense. You know, the Chargers, they love to throw the ball around. But I'm still there. I'm not off the Hunter Henry bandwagon yet. I mean, this guy is everything you want in a combo tight end. He is big, he can block, but he's a great pass catcher. And that offense, they have some weapons. You talk about like Tyrell Williams last year was a pretty good player for them. They got some production from guys like Dontrell Inman. But they get weapons back this year. And sometimes people can think about that as, oh no, there goes Hunter Henry. Keenan Allen's back. Oh, now they drafted Mike Williams. No, it doesn't necessarily work like that. It can be a good thing, especially for a tight end. If a tight end has room to roam, then he's not going to get doubled over the top with a safety, especially in the red zone where Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are going to be problems. I think Hunter Henry can have a solid year. Again, this is a team that's going to chuck the ball. Melvin Gordon is a great running back, but they are going to chuck it 40 times a game at least. So to have a tight end with that skill set in an offense where they're going to throw the ball a ton, it's a no-brainer to me. Hunter Henry, I'm not saying he's going to be the top 5 elite tight end. Maybe. But the bottom line is this. Again, 11th, 12th round, these are where defenses are starting to be picked. And you're taking your 4th and 5th wide receiver. It's just too good a value to be back there in that area. Anyway, that's it. There's going to be plenty more fantasy football and fantasy in general videos where these came from. I am a big fantasy sports guy. Don't win much. God, I suck lately. Anyway, bottom line is this. Even though I suck lately, you might want to take my advice, especially Spencer Ware and Marcus Mariota. Those two are just crazy to me, especially with Mariota. Anyway, this is Omar signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Can't wait for football season.